Another way that we can be holy as he is holy, and honor God, is by serving others. And when we looked at the beginning of this, at God's love, and that being holy as he is holy involved love, we saw that it's more than just loving others, but it's putting others first. It's being considerate, concerned, compassionate, and caring for others, all while being humble and patient. That involves serving others. And that, again, is something we see exemplified in Jesus' life. Mark 10:43 says, "But it is not so among you. On the contrary, whoever wants to become great among you will be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you will be slave to all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Not to be served, but to serve. That's repeated or echoed in Matthew 20:26. "It must not be like that among you. On the contrary, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." And not only did he say he came to serve, but he exemplified that. He showed the disciples that, and us as well, in that he washed their feet. Now, these were his disciples. They followed him, and he washed their feet. They didn't want him to do that. They didn't want him to do that because it was demeaning. It was something that nobody should have to do, but Jesus did it. And after he did that, he said this in John 13:12. When Jesus had washed their feet and put on his outer clothing, he reclined again and said to them, "Do you know what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are speaking rightly, since that is what I am. So if your Lord and teacher have washed your feet, if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should also do as I have done for you." He gave us an example of service, serving others, even a completely humble service. But we don't just see that in Jesus' life. We see that in the character of God throughout the Old Testament. People always talk about the wrath of God in the Old Testament, but he loved as well. He served as well, even when people didn't deserve it. I mean, he's always taking care of the Israelites. They would turn their backs on him. They would do something that was totally against him. And when they finally realized what they did, or they got themselves into such a pitiful state that they finally cry out to the Lord, he would swoop in and save the day. He would serve the ones who refused to serve him. He would serve the ones who had turned their backs on him. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong. God was not and is not a pushover. Okay, so those guys, they faced discipline. They had to deal with the consequences, but God was always there working for his good and for the good of his people. Of course, we saw that in Jesus' life as well. And he came to serve a people who didn't receive him. He spoke to them. He taught them. He helped them. Even while many were following him around, trying to kill him. They were plotting against him constantly. But he gave his life up to torture and death for those very same people. That is humble service. And through that, he displayed God's love and forgiveness so that we could see it, so that we could understand. He honored God by his selfless service to others. He exemplified that for us so that we could carry on that same plan as he calls us to be his witnesses and his ambassadors. Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A city situated on a hill cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, but rather on a lampstand, and it gives light for all who are in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." Now, these are not good works. He's not talking about good works that give you glory, that bring you fame, that bring you riches, but good works that display God's glory so that others can see it and they can accept that as well. That is serving others, works that serve others. And we're all given talents and abilities that should be used to serve. We're given resources that should be used to serve, supporting gospel work, feeding people who are in need, clothing and sheltering people who are in need. We also serve one another by lifting one another up, by encouraging one another, by comforting one another. See, we serve the Lord by obeying his word. We serve the Lord by following his will. And guys, as we serve, that serves to show God's glory to other people so that they can see that, and that honors him. And that is being holy.